Hi, I like to share with you some of my books that I have published. And the purpose of me publishing books is because I feel like if there is a way for a child to be able to express themselves easier, that is what we should try to do, right? Because sometimes these kids are going through some really tough things and they don't necessarily know how to talk about it, or maybe they don't feel comfortable talking about it. So these books are intended to help children learn how to talk about their feelings and how to deal with their feelings. So here we go. First book, Learning to Manage My Feelings. In this story, you're going to do a coping skill. So that's called scratch art. So basically, you're going to learn different feelings of all sorts, but anxiety and sadness and anger, those three are going to be major ones that this little girl goes through. And as she's going through it, she learns how to do scratch art. So when you're angry, you're just, and you're just, coloring as hard as you can and putting all that pressure in. And then and so for that one, that the color would be red, and then you would color black all over and just do black all over to where you can't see the red no more. And then you take a pencil and then you realize that you can make some magic art. So this is something that older people like me, we used to do back in the day. And now they have the whole tools and all the kits, but this is homemade, okay? That's where the good stuff is. But also, as the children are creating it, it's really like a sense of reducing your tension, just getting it all out. In this story, she goes through anxiety, worry, sadness, anger, and it also will teach you how she got through it. And that is one of the things that I really try to do within my books, is to be able to have children know what is something that I can do when I'm not in therapy, or maybe something that, when they're just in the home and they're just going through it. They have this book in the house, they read it, and they use their coping skills. Sometimes it's nice for families to be able to read the story with them as well. And a lot of these books that I have teaches families how to be able to have these conversations with their children. So, all right, we will go to the second book. I Don't Have Anger Issues. We learned that this boy's got lots of anger issues. So in this book, the coping skill is going to be making homemade Play-Doh. And while this little boy is trying to figure out how to make homemade Play-Doh, he is going through it. He's losing his patience, and the mom teaches him how to handle his emotion. This is a really good book for parents, grandparents, any caregiver, to learn how to communicate with their child when they're angry, how to help them calm down, and how to teach them the most appropriate ways of being able to manage their anger, all while making Play-Doh. So if you do have this book and you're with your child, whether it's in a therapeutic setting, in a classroom, or in a home, you're creating Play-Doh and you use Play-Doh after that, which is a fun activity. So this is all about anger. The third one, negativity is contagious. The coping skill here is going to be making homemade slime. Now we know slime is sticky, right? So are negative words. So it's contagious. Once you say one negative thing, then another negative thing is said, and all of a sudden your whole mind is full of all this negativity, which is not good. So in this book, this little girl learns how to use reframing, is what we call it in therapy. You're reframing your negative thoughts to your positive. And this girl and other children in the classroom all learn how to do that through making slime. Again, another fun activity. So when this book is over, you're also having slime in your hand that you've created on your own, and you can utilize the slime anytime that you're focusing on negative thoughts. So that's that one. My Very Own Rainbow and a Pot of Self-Esteem. So this little caterpillar just feels like he's not good at nothing, and he doesn't know how to even explain what he's good at. He has no idea until he goes through a journey trying to find this pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, which he's very sad because there's no pot of gold. There's a pot, and he gets stuck in there, and he's got to figure out how to get himself out, which is where all the self-esteem comes in. So this is a really good book for children to learn what are they good at. The coping skill in here is going to be painting, because painting is very soothing, and it also helps children to be able to talk while they're utilizing their hands in painting. So this can be another good source for you to be able to use with children who are trying to boost their self-esteem. All right. The next one is grief. This was a hard one. It's even hard for adults. This is good for adults to read too. So grief is about a little boy who lost his family member, and his best friend knew something wasn't right because he was acting different. And it shows within this book that the teacher just asked all the children to bring something special that reminded them of a loved one or a loved pet that they lost. And they learn how to use grief in a way where you're still finding ways to keep this person or this animal alive in your heart. So that way you're not necessarily having to let them go entirely. It's just, how do we still find a way to feel connected? And how do we talk about grief? Sometimes it's really hard for parents to talk to their children about because the parents are going through it themselves. So this is another good way for a child to be able to read the book, or a parent can read a book. In therapy, you read a book. It just makes it a little bit more soothing and easygoing to be able to talk about such a heavy topic. Okay. The next one is Life is Better at the Beach. The coping skill with this book is sand. So if you're lucky like me and you live by a beach, you can just go fill up your water bottle with sand and take it home. And if not, then you have to purchase sand. But sand is a really good coping skill because you're able to you're lifting up the sand, you're letting it fall through your hands. And that's what this book is about, is learning how to let things go. So there's lots of coping skills in here that the children do, where it is looking at the clouds and realizing how quickly the clouds change within time, that is our healing process. Within time, you will heal. And then there's different types of strategies when it comes to the sand. So this is really good for children who are going through any change. It could be divorce. It could be where other family members are leaving their home, whether it's for college or, sometimes siblings have older siblings that are moving out, and that's really hard for them. And this book also talks about where you're just moving completely to a brand new neighborhood and a brand new school, or it also can be for children who are going from elementary to middle school. So just change is the big topic here, and sand helps us learn how to cope with it as you're learning strategies to realize that things do get better. In the moment, it might be hard, but within time, you will be able to get through it. So that's this book. And then God's Got My Back. So this is more of a poem format, and it also has some coloring pages in the back. And the coping skill is God himself, just being able to talk to him. Now, I know this can be controversial for some people because it just depends on your beliefs, but I also just wanted to take the risk and put it out there because I believe in God and I love that man. He is the man. That's my belief, okay? So I always want people to know that if you believe and if you are a follower and if you have faith, sometimes whether you're an adult or a child, we feel like things are just really hard to deal with. And we try to get through it to where we just don't know what else to do sometimes. And then you give it to God and you allow yourself to say, God, help me through this. Whether you're giving me patience or confidence or whatever it is you feel I need to do to get through this, please help me. And you're writing a letter to God in the end of this story. And again, this is a poem, so it's like an easy flowing story. So this is my last one. I hope you like them. Every book comes with coping skills. Every book really helps to be able to do a therapy setting when it comes to telehealth. I'm all telehealth. So I definitely try to use engaging activities with my children, but I also do family sessions with these books. And I think that it's really nice to be able to have the caregivers learn appropriate ways to communicate with their children. But also, when you have things like this in the house, like it's easier for you to process, but realize there's things around you all the time that you can utilize to be able to help children. So that is my purpose. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you are interested, they are on Amazon. And I just hope that one day my books will be spread across the country and all these little children are going to be able to learn how to regulate their feelings. That is my purpose. All right. Well, thank you and peace out.